I want to do something now that I haven't done in, I guess, over a year, which is a breakdown of one of the tracks we made for Ondine that you guys were asking about. The track is called ModemMode, and it uses tempo, and we were making this track to showcase the sounds from Ondine, but most of you were asking about the drums. The drums were made with tempo, but we hadn't announced that yet. But this track is basically just tempo and Ondine, and then a sample from a vocal session I ran like years ago. That's the little blurb you hear towards the intro. But yeah, let's just dive on in. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, but I thought it would be fun to just listen to the whole thing through and then kind of just explore what the different elements are that make up this track.
Section again.
So I guess we can start by just looking at the drums first. There's a combination of drums being played manually and a sequence. Sometimes I'll put my manual mode playing on a separate track just to keep things a little bit cleaner. But this whole intro is where the manual drums happen. This is probably a good time to bring up that I, generally speaking, do not quantize my MIDI, and I don't even normally like do much with time aligning in my old age now. That's like the only way I can stick it to the man is by not quantizing or overly aligning everything to the grid. There's some really loose playing in this, but you know, I always think it adds character. Maybe it drives you crazy, leaving some things out of time, but I don't know. It's, but I kind of like it. Okay, so there's the manual part in the intro. Then there's the actual sequence, which you can watch the key switching happen. The first sequence starts on middle C. Then there's a D, E, and F to make up this. Those four notes make four different patterns to make up the sequence. You can see in this sequence, as always, one of the first things I do usually is, you know, take the hi-hats and either push them behind or in front of the beat, or just do something to make sure that they're not completely locked into the grid. It's just one way that I kind of humanize these beats. It's usually the very minimum that I would do is to kind of mess with making the hi-hats not exactly to the grid, because they're typically the thing that has the most meter to it or has the most subdivisions to it. So locking that into straight quantized 16th notes isn't necessarily my thing, at least not for this type of track. In other tracks it would make a lot more sense. Let's go ahead and add the bass in here. This is the preset bottom heavy. a part of Ondine, as I said. Which is basically just following the kick pattern exactly. There are three kind of similar sounds that I have layered together here, which when I used to mix other people's music, this used to drive me crazy when someone would have like 3 organs layered or whatever. But, you know, this is my track and I'm the only one that has to mix it, so I'm not too worried about it. But on the main section here, there's kind of a combination of 3 different sounds from Ondine: cinematic fourths, garden shed, and guitar blooms. And we can hear what those are doing. You can hear a little bit of like the complexity in the chords with the cinematic fourths, because every note that you play, it adds a fourth above it, so you're getting some slight dissonance in there. Oh, it looks like I had a 4th one on here too. This preset November is also playing something similar. Here's just cinematic fourths. Here's just garden shed. Here's the guitar with it. November. And then towards the ending of this song, there is this other part from the preset called Complete Domination. This is one where I used the Learn MIDI CC and attached the mod wheel to the movement knob in Ondine. Which is how you hear the kind of different octaves meeting in the middle and then separating again. Sounds like I accidentally hit a bass note in there somewhere. That happens. And then I believe I doubled it maybe an octave higher. One thing I do sometimes, I'm just going to show you a little trick, is that sometimes I'll just take the same thing, like or duplicate it and then move it back a little bit and just see if it like messes with things. It may not be good in this instance, but sometimes it makes some really interesting glitches. Just adds a little more chaos in there. We'll put it back where it was because we're mainly just kind of studying what's here. And then towards the end of this track, that's basically all the sounds. And then towards the end, I added a phaser and a delay onto basically like the whole track. And this was automated, and this is kind of how it ends. And that is a basic breakdown of our track ModemMode. This has been fun. We should do it again soon.